All right. Hello, Maree. Hello, Jazzy.
Hi, hello Elisa. Hi everyone. How
Yes,
you doing,
hello,
Elisa?
everybody on the chat. Um, I am doing fantastic. Really excited for what's to come. I'm staying in that state of just pure excitement. And um, I've realized that the fastest way to get to the what I want, which is like a partner I can travel the world with, right? Um, the only way to manifest that is the way that I've manifested my life now. So, how is that? Well, it's by closing my eyes for 10 minutes a day and literally living that life and not this life, right? And so, trying to stay as high vibing as I can all day long, all day long, all day long. Just so I'm concentrating very much on that. Like my high vibration is everything right now to me. Everything, everything, everything.
Yeah. And that's so beautifully said. And I think we were mentioning this yesterday on the Dream Show that with this frequency and this consciousness that's coming through, honestly, it's like that. So Elisa, you're spot on. And you're right. Lisa just reminded me of something that I had forgotten, about in this sort of family relationship. And it was like, oh, of course, Maree, come on, just shift it around and actually think about what it is you want to experience rather than what you had been experiencing. And I went, oh, and look, we forget. So it's really nice. This is why I love this show, is because it's so nice to remind each other your thoughts will actually, and how you feel like, will actually create then what you get to experience. So thank you for the reminder. And we all need it at some stage, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you have a family member that you have conflict with, and this is for everybody, just, before you're going to speak to them and uh be with them, imagine the situation. What do you want to see? What do you want to create? Close your eyes and imagine the conversation. Imagine the outcome. Imagine how you feel. Like you were like, oh my God, that went so well. Wow. Just imagine what you want to happen. And I promise you, it will be different.
Yeah.
It will be different. It might not be exactly what you're envisioning, but the feeling that you felt during that vision is what will be the outcome for sure.
Ab- Absolutely. And this is how I've manifested everything else in my life. And I'm going, how do I forget? It's when I'm triggered, then I tend to forget. And because our vibe drops, exactly as Elisa's been saying, it's like, oh, okay, come on, get yourself back on your horse, get back up there. It's true.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so if any of you guys are going through anything, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's anything at all, just stop and go, hang on a minute. How am I thinking about this in my head? And then what feelings do I get from it? Oops. Okay, I need to change this up. So it's taking responsibility for creating our own reality, which is what we talk about. So yeah, so I'm back on the horse.
Good. That's excellent. Yeah, absolutely excellent. So, as always, I always like to ask you what's going on in Australia that's new that we might not know about on this side of the world.
Well, the Australian people have decided that our prime minister is unworthy to be a prime minister. I don't think it's actually the real person anyway, personally. And so there's this other person that no one likes either, that they're now the government are going, oh, he'll be really good. And he's worse, if you know what I mean. So people are starting to see, hang on a minute, how come we don't get a choice in this? They're just going to put someone else in, if that, yeah. So there's a lot more awakening around that, I've noticed. But apart from that, unless Nick, you can think of something that, and or Tanya, that you've heard that I've forgotten. I hadn't really seen a lot of, because we haven't had the TV on. Like I haven't been working in the house where they have the news TV on, so I don't see what is being projected out from the mainstream media. So yeah, a little bit limited this week. So what about
Oh,
you? Yeah. So what about you? Are you I mean, I
so
know there's so much going on over there, isn't
oh
there?
my gosh. It seems like every day I can't keep up because I only look at it once. I only look at it whenever we're going to have the show. So trying to catch up with hundreds of posts is like, oh my God, there's so much happening, you know? So it's hard to keep up with what's happening. But I go to work out, and in the workout place, it's like TV, like, I don't know, I'm going to say at least 10 TVs in 2 rows. So like 20 TVs going, and it's got CNN and those type of news media. And so at least with that, I always like look up like what's going on, what story are they being told, and just a lot going on. But I mean, for me, it's all like happy news every day. It just seems to be everything we wanted to, we wanted to manifest, that we knew about, that we knew was coming, and now it's here. And it's just, it's awesome to see how fast they're doing it, to be honest. I didn't think it would be this fast.
No, and I think Elisa and I were just having a quick chat before we started, and there's no way this could be done in real time. This has already been done, and they're just releasing it, bang, 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 as if it's going to happen, but it's actually already happened, and they're just playing this out. I heard this amazing, I was listening to a chat. I haven't listened to him for ages, and I really like this guy, and he had a couple of people on his live chat from the US, and this caller got on, and she worked in Hollywood. She was a script writer, and she said, so how they've done this movie is brilliant. She said, because your first part is really a bit longer and drawn out, and you're getting to know characters, you're getting to know what the plot's going to be. Then the middle part, there's names for it all. The middle part, you're starting to, like, things don't happen that you don't expect to happen. The middle part, it's like there's a building up. She said the final part, she said it's so fast. Everything that happens comes in so quickly. It's almost like you're blinking and it's coming through. She said that's exactly how they've scripted this, exactly how you would do an absolute thriller in Hollywood. But the way she did it, I went, this makes so much sense. So that's exactly what they're following, is a perfect script.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
really
cool.
I know.
Well, I mean, over here, I think it's big news. I don't know. I haven't heard any of the people that are not awake mentioning it, but the fact that he's trying to get rid of the IRS.
Well, do you remember, Elisa, years ago, we did a thing on that, and it came up, it had already moved. It had already moved, I think, down to Texas, and it was already something else anyway. And that was almost, I reckon, about 18 months ago. Yeah. So this is what I mean. Things were done, but it was so behind the scenes, you never saw a word of it, So that's, it's fascinating.
It is fascinating. And seeing it unfold, and it's just, it gives me confirmation that I'm glad I stopped paying taxes like 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
And I was thinking of you yesterday, because in this show they had someone else that said the same thing, that if you don't put it in, then you have no contract with them. So it's having the courage to not put it in the first place. And in the US, it's not anywhere within those guidelines or whatever I don't know what you call it, the statute or whatever, that you have to actually pay it. So I think more and more people are doing that. In Australia, I think they do have it in. So it is a legal problem. So, But I tell you, sometimes now I wish I was living in America. It's like,
well, you might be surprised. There might be forms to get out of it over there. Just like here, it's just people do not know they exist. But even the IRS itself has a form where you can say, like, I'm getting out of this contract, because you are in a sense contracted. Once you do it the first time, then you're contracted.
Yeah.
So you have to send something to say, no, I'm breaking this contract. I don't want to be part of this contract anymore. And it's their own form.
I know. And actually someone was talking about that in this show. It was a really good show. And they were saying that a friend of this girl said he put it in. He got back for all his tax, $40,000 for that business year. and they said, oh yeah, we apologize. They actually admitted it and apologized.
I didn't get that, but I wasn't going to play with it, you know.
No,
But they, you know,
yes,
they do owe us that money.
yeah,
They do owe us that money for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the only other thing in Australia is this. One of the guys, he was saying that he went in and found these documents to show how much money it would cost to fix all the homelessness in Australia. Now, homelessness here has really gone up because we just don't have the housing. There's so many international people coming in. It's because that then increases the government's GDP. So they just bring in people, they get money, they don't care. It was this certain amount, but the amount they've given like to a U country, you know, the U country, the amount they've given to them is like a couple of billion, and like a tiny part of that would have just solved the whole homelessness in Australia. So we know we've followed the same programming that, you know, other countries
Yeah,
like US.
actually, you know, Australia is the US, is my understanding.
Yeah. It'll
It's
be
an actual corporation of the US, I believe, of the US corporation.
it was on the New York. It was actually on the New York stock market, but it was broke. Like all of them, they're all broke. So yeah. So look, I do feel we'll have a very strong connection with the US. So, and again, we're just playing out as well. I think you guys, they've always said US has to go first in all of this, and then it will be filtered through into other countries.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to stay on that conversation about the IRS because I think once it happens here, it will happen everywhere else, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing the move, the soap opera where they're supposedly requesting access to the IRS data. So what is next for the IRS in the eyes of the movie? Like, as far as the movie is concerned, is the next step that they obviously give people information that is outrageous, and then they decide to stop the IRS from existing, right? And then just implementing so let's go in pieces, but I want to know, will they implement just like a sales tax, and that way, everybody pays the same? Or what was the other option? That the tariffs will pay it, so then we wouldn't have to pay it. So we can look at different options and see what ends up being like the right answer.
Okay, so the first one I'll ask, what do you want me to ask first? So, what?
Basically, what will come out of this access, requesting the access to IRS data? What will be the outcome?
What will be the outcome publicly?
Yes,
requesting
in the movie,
IRS,
in the movie script.
Movie. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so it's interesting because the first card out is our Six of Cups. Now, to me, this is where there's a big community. We can talk about it as being the tax community, which is all of us, you guys, and then being offered something emotionally, but people can choose. So see how she can be either looking at one of these cups or looking at what she's being offered. So I feel this is going to happen in a way where people feel like it's a gift before they're told how corrupt the whole system has been, like through the what do you call it? The birth certificates and all of that. So because what they want to do is they're taking action to set up, looking towards the future, to let the past behind. Then the secrets will come out. So I feel that the Four of Swords always says to me there's something that's hidden as a plan, but it eventually will come out. But meanwhile, this is what they're going to do first. So the good news will come through first. Oh, look at that. We now don't have to pay this sort of tax. And then what I'll do is I'll ask for cards that show us if there will be like a sales tax, that what they're talking about on new commodities or new products. Let me just see if that will be paid by people as a tax in a way.
Right.
Oh,
Or if maybe it will be covered by tariffs, and that would be even better, because then we wouldn't pay the taxes.
I've got a feeling it'll actually be paid by tariffs for you guys, because that Knight of Swords to me is almost like that military card. Like there's something that's going to come in to change that up. Maybe not initially, maybe not initially. And I feel, okay, let's have a look and see. Yeah. So there'll be a little bit of a sojourn, like there'll be a bit of a, people will be really contemplating these changes because they're massive. And some people don't like change, no matter how positive or good it is. So I think
they're fighting to pay the taxes. They're like, we need the taxes. We got to pay for roads, and we got to blah, 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 blah. Like they don't get it. They don't get it.
So I feel at first that might be the scenario where they're allowed to pay for these new services or goods, and they can choose, what. Yeah. So once that contemplation time is over and that change time is over, let me just see then what will happen. Oh, I think it's going to be hidden for a little while, because that Eight of Swords has come up. So this is like when people are trapped in their own minds around a situation. So I feel that resistance is something that they've looked at. They've obviously psychologically looked at the percentage of people that might actually come into this resistance. I know it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Remember, it's like the people that are abused, and then they become friends with their abusers, right?
Your Stockholm syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's going to be fine, because that 10 of Cups is always, yay, this is amazing. Everyone's really happy. Everyone's comfortable. Remember, we have NPCs. We have all sorts of people that are programmed to do what they're meant to do. All right. So, but the outcome is going to be very, very positive, emotionally really rewarding for people. And that in turn, when people have that, oh my gosh, this is amazing. What happens? Their frequency, their vibration, everything, rises, expands, and so therefore your consciousness on the whole in this whole place is going to go up. So and if you do that too quickly, in a way as well, you can run into problems. So it's a fine line. It's like walking a balancing rope, isn't it? Tightrope.
It is, absolutely. And it's almost like with him and the people that don't believe in him, it's almost like you can show them all kinds of things that are being done, and it gets turned around to the negative, like him getting rid of the Department of Education. Like that could not be the best news ever. And people are like, oh, he's getting rid of the Department of Education, blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
they have no idea. Most people don't realize that the schooling system was set up by the military. They actually, children, I just feel so sad for children, especially boys, that are made to sit all day. It's so wrong, and it's to control them and to indoctrinate them. And people don't know that. This is the problem. They don't understand that, because they're indoctrinated because they went to school. It's hilarious. It's a catch-22.
Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting. But so far, I've been shocked at the inability of people to see things in a different way. It's been shocking.
And it was really interesting on this show that I was listening to, that they were also saying, with what Robert, Kennedy Jr., the new health sort of inspector, whatever you call him, he's saying we're going to take poisons out of your food. We're going to make everything clean. And people are up there and they're protesting. We want the poisons in our food. Literally. This is how crazy people are.
Yeah. And the vaccines, right? Because some people still believe that the vaccines protect them. In their head, they're like, how could you? Our health is going to go to hell. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh my God. This is crazy.
So crazy. And some people are not going to ever get there, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're right. It's when we know, when you've researched, I've researched so much into what's actually in those little vials, and I've tried to find studies to compare against a placebo. There are none. they still have all the adjuvants, which is what causes the problems in the
Yep.
in the vial. Oh, it's like, wow. So when you sort of do that sort of research to that depth, you go, yeah, no. But a lot of people don't know how to do that, and they don't have the time and energy. You know, they've got busy
Right.
lives with kids and work.
Right.
And, so, and that was the whole point of this system. Make everyone so busy just trying to survive, they don't have time to question anything. It's perfect.
Yeah,
But
the
that
same
would
thing with
change.
with like the privacy agreements. When you join any website or any, like the Apple, every time a new software upgrade comes in, I mean, you could be agreeing to them copying all your pictures. You could be agreeing. It doesn't matter. You could be agreeing to giving your passwords away, but nobody reads it. Nobody reads it. They just agree and move on.
Correct. I know. And because they do it so much, we get inundated with it, so we normalize it. So, if you were, so it's I know. But, that sort of thing too, that, I mean, I really feel that will all change.
Yeah,
So,
I hope so. I really
I
do.
know.
I hope so. Yeah.
Right.
So, so supposedly he's going to get rid of a bunch of agents from the IRS. Has that already happened?
Let's have a look and see.
And supposedly, like, the IRS is being ran by AI.
Okay, so we'll ask first, has there already been, or has there been a big cull with the IRS? Yeah, a lot of the stories that have come out, there's my little furphy card, there's my page of swords, which means, there's some mistruths or some things that people could misconstrue, but yeah, there's definitely something. And then the Six of Pentacles, I feel some of them have been paid out, like offered a certain amount to try and keep a balance as this change has been put into place. So yeah, I'm feeling with these cards that there definitely has been, they've been looked after though, in a way, or they've been shifted, or they've been, they're doing something else. And yeah, again, it's fine. 10 of Cups. It's like, it's definitely all working out for the whole bigger picture. That's what I'm getting with that 10 of Cups again. So this could be our card of the day today.
So so did they have to sign NDAs?
All right. So it was interesting because when I was pulling those cards, you know me, I get a little vision or I get something going on. I feel they did it quite surreptitiously. It was almost like, these few people are given a redundancy, then these few people are given a redundancy, then these. So I feel that was what I was seeing. But let me just ask the cards as well. Oh, so so that's a no. We got the Two of Swords to the redundance, to the NDA question. So, and that flipped out. So
Interesting. Okay.
I think it was more of a they were just very surreptitious around it. I'll do a clarifying card for that. Yeah, King of Cups. So to me, remember, this is an emotional card. He's a master of emotions, but there's something hidden under the cloak. So it's been done in a way that's it's clever.
Okay. Very cool.
I'd love to know if anybody in the US actually knows someone that maybe works for the IRS or whatever, and if they've actually been offered any sort of redundancy or had, something like that happen, or they've been shifted roles, or that would be so interesting to know.
Big time. Yeah, big time. So then what is next for the IRS?
Okay.
Is it going to be completely shut down?
Let's have a look and see.
And can the cards tell us what, how are other countries going to follow along? How's Australia going to, how we can ask for Australia
as well.
What's happening there?
Okay, so sorry, it was are they going to be shut down completely, like no IRS?
Yeah,
it's really interesting because I'm actually getting so funny. I know, should have said it, but it was coming to me. it's going to be known as something else because the full cards come up. So it'll be like a part of the new system, but it'll be known as something else. It'll have a different role, all of that. And that's what I was getting. It's actually going to be, there'll still be a place, but it'll have a whole different intention behind it. It'll be something different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they said it was going to be the external revenue service. So yeah, I just wasn't sure how that was going to work out. But we had talked about it in one of the last shows that that's what was going to happen. So yeah.
See, I don't remember what comes through often from the last shows. It's only sometimes when it really stands out that I remember it. But thanks, Barbara. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. All right. Very good. So let's ask for Australia. What is next for Australia when it comes to, what do you guys call your
ATO, Australian Taxation Office? So the ATO. Yeah. So let's have a look at that and see while we're on this timeline aspect. Interesting. Yeah, Okay, so the Eight of Cups, they'll be walking away from what they've been doing, basically, and justice. So I feel we'll be following in a similar line, but in a way that works with the regulations and rules and everything they have here, because it is slightly different. So, that one wants to come up. Okay, come up.
Yeah, over there is more hellish, so much more controlled, and it's crazy.
But we don't have things like you guys have land and house taxes. Like, so every year we pay rates, but that's for the council, just, basically, and water rates. But you guys actually have to pay house rates, don't you? It's like a house tax.
Yeah, that's for the local schools. That pays for like the local stuff, like the schools for the kids, the local firemen, the local. That's
right.
What those
so we don't.
For.
How much? Can you tell me roughly how much that would be if you had, say, a house worth?
It's based on the worthiness of the house. So, when I had my house, it was $4,000 a year.
So that's probably fairly similar. So the council use it for. We have another state. The federal national government actually will allocate to the states how much they get from. We don't pay a separate state tax. I think we get allocated a certain amount. So if we need new roads, like Queensland's really growing because of the mines up north and this and that. So we'll get more funding for roads and things like that going in infrastructure. But yeah, we don't have to pay. Our money doesn't go towards that sort of thing. It goes towards different things. But it sounds fairly similar.
Yeah, but some states have state taxes in addition to federal taxes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in Florida, we don't pay taxes because the tourists pay them.
Yes. That'll be me. I'll be paying them. Funny. So, okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah. So, and I mean, we've only got, how many states have we got? Six and a territory. So we've got 6 states and 1 territory. So they all have different rules as well.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Fairly similar, but like, for example, New South Wales, when it's school holidays or Christmas holidays, they double the infringement costs if you get caught for speeding or anything like that. Yeah, they double it. In Queensland, they don't. So, and yet we can be right on a border with them. And so you cross the border and you might get a speeding fine, but it's not double, and you lose double demerit points in New South Wales.
Oh my God, you guys are so controlled. It's crazy. Like,
correct. Welcome to
my God.
It's, we were a testing ground, remember? We're part of the Five Eyes. So you've got to remember that. New Zealand's worse. New Zealand. Oh my gosh, what they do to New Zealand is just horrific.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. I'm scared to ask.
I know. So, just their basic cost of living is probably a third more than Australia, and yet they earn a third less than what you do in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah.
They see Lori is saying we get really taxed here in North Carolina. They make us pay yearly property tax on our cars. Oh my goodness,
What?
that's crazy.
Yeah, see, this is the thing,
Crazy.
that sort of rubbish, it just needs to be gone. Even the licenses and all of the registrations and all of that on cars,
All of
all of
that
that,
bull crap. Why do you
you
pay
know,
taxes on something that's already paid taxes on? If the car was worth 30,000 when you bought it and you paid taxes on 30,000, why would you have to pay taxes if somebody else is buying the same car for 10,000 but they have to pay taxes? Why? That car already paid taxes on 30,000. That car is done.
that's
It's
but
paid the
this is what they
taxes.
do.
It's done.
But they slip them in. They keep just adding and adding and adding. It's like that's, boiling the frog slowly, isn't it? It's the same thing. It just keeps adding and adding and adding, and then everyone just normalizes it.
Well, they
So,
normalize it, but then they don't stand against it, right? Like that's why I
yeah,
don't live in a state that where you have to pay state taxes. I'm not willing to do that. I would love to live in California, but I don't even think of ever moving there. Why? Because I'm not willing to pay state taxes.
yeah,
I'm just not willing to
absolutely.
do that. So
No,
it's also about taking action, right? And not standing against and standing against what is not right. It's gotten
correct.
so out of control.
But they know, and this is how they've done it, and this is how, I think I sat down and worked out one day with what I was earning, and then all the different taxes, the 12%, 15% sales, 10% sales tax, whatever it is we pay here on top of all your goods and services, and all the licensing fees and all of my like nursing fees and registrations. And I think at the end of the day, you get like a third. Your actual money that you earn, it's if you're lucky, you get a third of it to live on. Mm. It's crazy.
That's mm,
But that was the whole aim. People then have to work really hard to just survive. So yeah. But it's changing, and that's what I love. And I keep saying that to everyone. They go, oh my gosh, this is so expensive. I go, don't worry, that's changing soon. It's okay. It's like, yeah, just staying
yeah,
in
and
that.
it's funny because you say it and people are like, what?
What?
Like, like, okay, you're nuts. Like, and I'm like, no, seriously, it's gonna change. We're doing
Yeah,
life is good. It's gonna get better.
I know. I do. I
Yeah.
do that as well. And yeah, people that look, what?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It's fun.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember when I used to tell people, oh, the IRS is going away. And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, right. Just be careful. Don't get put in jail. And I'm like, I'm not,
No, no.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
you've always been very strong with that. I think I really admired you for that. So with what you've done.
because I so believe that if you vibrate high, they can't see you. They can't, you're just not in their reality. I don't know. Yeah.
No,
I,
I agree with you.
yeah.
I
I have
absolutely,
full
it's true.
trust that I am watched over, protected. Like
Yes.
they can't do me any harm, but that kind of thing.
It was interesting as you were talking then about all of that scenario with the IRS and, whatever. So again, the hermit's come up. So this has been a long time in the contemplation of it, the developing of it, and then the death card. So there is an absolute transition happening with this. It's still being worked on and modified to a point as well, but a majority of it with this Eight of Pentacles, it's done. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too was, are we going to be the last? Do you want to be the last person in the Matrix? I don't. The Matrix will exist until no players want to play anymore.
That's exactly
So,
spot on.
and so I was like, I don't want to play anymore. I'm done with this Matrix. I'm not doing this. And I knew that it was something that I had to do. I just knew. I I was like, I'm standing against, it was like energy, right? Giving my energy to what I want. And so that's where I kept focusing on, is focusing my energy on what I wanted. And I didn't want to pay taxes. So I said, I'm going to focus my energy on that,
Yeah.
and getting the IRS to disappear.
And you did. But it takes courage to do that,
Oh,
So
yes.
it takes so much courage to do that.
It does. And people telling you, or you're going to go to jail. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Even my kids are like, Mom, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, all right, I'm telling you, you don't have to pay taxes. And they just, oh no, we're paying, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right.
But that's it. It's the fear. It's the indoctrination and the fear. And, when you're even given a loophole out of it, it's like, oh, I don't know, is this worth it? But then now when it comes out in this, well, there'll be no more taxes and people will still be in that place. And yet a lot of people will go, oh, about time. They weren't prepared to do anything about it before. But now that it's in their face, they're going, yeah, okay, that's fantastic. So you will have a combo of people. You'll have a big combination.
Yeah. It's exciting. I mean, I hope people start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, that they're not there anymore. It's just fakery at this point.
Yeah,
it's just
true.
fakery.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see when they'll bring out the new name for the old IRS, what they'll actually do. I mean, gosh, the man can change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America in like 2 days.
So, what was that all about? Like, what's the point of that? Like, you know what? Let's ask the cards. What the hell was the point of that?
Well, you do know that Biden had done before he left, apparently he did up a, what do they call it when they sign a declaration thing to say this is law? What do you call it in the US? We don't have that here. They go in and sign all these, things to say,
legislative. Oh my God. Executive order? No.
Thank you. Yeah, he did an executive order to say that there could be no mining, there could be nothing that was done down in the Gulf of Mexico. And Trump goes, no big deal, we'll just change it to the Gulf of America.
Oh, that's why he changed the name. Well, people did not know that.
Mm-hmm. That's why. So he was just.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm so intrigued. I love the US. I never used to understand any of it. Now I just love US politics and how you can like flip all this stuff and change it up. And yeah, so
you know what's crazy here? We've never talked about this, but also something I did as a rebel of the Matrix is I took these credit cards, and they were 0% credit cards, and I filled them up to the top because I was learning how to send you can take the coupon and make a payment out of it, a check. You can grab it and turn it into its own check. So I did that. And of course, Deep State was like, we're not accepting that, even though it's legal tender. Okay. So two credit card companies ended up, I ended up closing the account and sending it to the debt collectors and everything. And I was just like, I'm not, they get money, according to the strawman, they get money from the, our accounts, So it was like, no, you're getting paid twice. I'm not paying you twice. I'm not doing it. So I ended up getting away with like $30,000 that I did not have to pay. And let me tell you, when they sell your information to a debt collector, that's illegal. Okay. We have laws, the credit something law, whatever it was. They can't call you. They can't visit you. They can't send you emails, nothing. They call me every day. They send me letters. And it's like, breaking the law. When they sell your information, that's illegal. You did not sign a contract with these debt agencies. You didn't sign a contract with them. How can they come for your money?
That's amazing.
So I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I am, again, I was like, I'm not playing this game with the Matrix. I'm not playing a game with the deep state. I'm not doing it. And so once again, everything worked out because they went to a debt collector. And at that point, everything they're doing is illegal. So if they can't come after me because they don't have a contract with me.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Hey, do you want to come up and be equal with me in size? Because I think it's great. I love these discussions. So do you still get all the phone calls and everything?
I get the phone calls, but the way that they disguise their texting, because they'll call you and then send you a text, is ACS debt collector is here to help you. Or the other one that they do now is they send you a text or they call you and they say, your loan is ready for you. It's waiting for you to just your signature.
That's crazy. So they haven't sent any big burly boys around to like beat the money out of you or anything like that.
They can't. It's illegal.
No, it's illegal. And it's so good that you've done that research to actually find that out.
Well, you know what Chase did? When Chase sent me a letter via FedEx overnight that required my signature. Yep. And so this guy shows up and he's like, this is for you. And it was like an envelope, a flat envelope, overnighted. And I'm like, and I'm thinking, I did not order anything. I'm not waiting on anybody to send me anything. I'm like, who's sending it? And it was some like weird, like letter, like RMS, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, just a minute. It's JP Morgan Chase.
See, so few people would have done that.
I was like, oh, well, that could have been number one, them taking me to court, which they can't if I don't accept it, right? So then 2 weeks later, they sent it to a debt collector.
Wow. Oh, congratulations, Elisa. I love how you've just blipped the system off, knowing because you knew what the actual truth was around the law of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually did a lot of research on it, and I did. Yeah. I really did, and I was really pissed off that they had ignored my my bill of exchange. It's called a bill of exchange, and they had ignored it. And the only way you can get out of this is by suing them. And I was like, okay, that's way 3D. That's low vibration. I'm not wasting my time with that, even though I could have done it and get a lot of money. But I was like, no, it's low vibration. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting into the courts. I'm not getting into a conflict. I'm just saying I'm not part of this matrix anymore. I'm done with you and I'm not playing your game. Thank you for the $30,000. I went to Egypt and I went to Thailand, and thank you. That's it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. It looks like Tracy's done the same thing. So I reckon that's brilliant. So good.
Yeah, absolutely. They are
so good.
I once I knew what they were up to, I was like, no, I'm not a sucker. I'm not playing this game. Not doing it.
No. But that takes courage. You research and then you have the courage to take the step.
Yes.
And that's huge. And that's actually breaking a patterning and an indoctrination that we've all had and got. So that's huge. It's like you're really paving the way. So.
I actually did a video a while back with my friend Tracy about being brave and the courage it takes to break out of the matrix. Because it does take balls. It takes balls. You got to have them. Yeah. You cannot do it with fear because then they will come after you, right? You have to have full faith that what you're doing is going to work out, that the universe has your back, and that if you're trying to do it for the good reason, which is to get out of the matrix, then the universe is going to support you. right?
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, you saw the video I put out about how I broke out of the matrix, right? It's a video that I just put out because I keep getting pounded on just showing my life. And
Yeah.
so, you know, it's almost like you have to blindly jump a cliff and know that you're going to be supported. And I just kept thinking, what is the point of having this money in the bank if I die tomorrow? Like,
Yeah.
what would be the point? What would be the point of retiring at 80 and I can't go up the steps in Machu Picchu? Like, how? No, no. And then it was like always the message, like, the now, only the now moment exists. And I'm like, okay, it's the now moment and I have money in the bank. I'm
Yeah.
freaking doing this. That's
Yeah.
it. Tomorrow
And
doesn't
that
exist.
takes courage because, you know, we've been indoctrinated where you have to look after your later years and this and that. And I was going, what? So when you get old, if you're really sick or something, you got to pay for all your medical bills and that's all the money you've saved for your whole life. Well, this really sucks. So I think I'm with you. I'm like, you know, do what I can as soon as I can get into my super fund, man. I'm in. I am in. And so it's like, now it's like, whew, and you have choices, and what happens then? Your vibration goes higher, and what happens
Yes.
then? You create more more
Yes.
abundance, and it's huge, isn't it? It's a massive cycle.
Yes, absolutely. And when you don't make that jump, those people that came into my life when I moved here, I would never have met them. I would have never, it's like people are put in your space, and if I wouldn't have told the universe I'm making this jump, then this apartment wouldn't have appeared, and this, sunrises and sunsets wouldn't have appeared in my life. Like, to me, happiness is worth the jump. To me, happiness is worth the taxes I would have had to pay. To me, happiness is worth getting over the fear. Like, yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
that's how I looked at it. It was just a mindset shift of, if I die tomorrow, is this how I want to die? Going
Yeah.
to an office every day? Like, no, that's not what I want. No,
No.
and it was asking that question. If I died tomorrow, should I have gone on the trip with so much money in the bank? If I died tomorrow, would it be worth it to drive to go see my kids 3 times a week, or what? Like, at the end of the day, the answer is always like, do it, go do it, because you can die tomorrow, and tomorrow doesn't exist.
Exactly. It's so true. And people we put off, as humans, we've been taught, oh, you put that off, put that off. I've got to get this sorted first. I've got to get enough money for it. And it's just how we've been brought up and indoctrinated. And so to break it is huge. And like you say, you kept asking yourself that question to break that patterning,
Yeah.
and it can be, each person has their own trigger, each person has their own questions that's going to help them to break the patterning and action they have to take. So for example, for me, I got the message, I knew anyway, but you're never getting this thing, and don't wear these ever again. And I went, oh my god, I work in the medical industry, like this is crazy. This is when it was all happening, and they just brought it in the city, and I had to go up there because I was picking up all of my precious metal for my super fund. And I was going, oh my God, 3 days I sat and I was going through the releasing of the fear of going against authority. And God kept saying to me, Maree, you know what to say. You've researched this. You know exactly what to say. This is absolutely lawful for you. Meanwhile, down in Victoria, people are getting arrested, even though they're doing the lawful thing around it. And I'm going, okay, Maree, just trust. How it all worked out was just hilarious. But honestly, I could feel the breaking down of this patterning and the need to do what the authorities were telling me to do. It was huge. So that didn't just do it for this. I know it did it for a whole other structure, So we think we're doing it for one thing. In actual fact, it will actually clear a whole lot for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's also knowing, if you are in a higher vibrational state, I had a friend that was telling me, oh, the cops put me in jail because I didn't wear a mask and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking in my head, that would never happen to me.
No, no.
Because her mindset is cops are assholes. You know, okay, if you believe they're assholes, guess what? They're going to be assholes. That's how it works. Whatever you believe is what you get. So,
yeah, exactly. And I went out, not once did I put one on, and everyone else was, covered up and 6 feet apart and all that rubbish. And I just remember when it was rare, but when I saw other people that didn't have one, the biggest smile to each other. We both knew. And I never got stopped once. I never got questioned once. Apart from when I was inside a hospital and I was getting things thrown at me, but I just stood my ground and stayed really calm. But yeah, not once did I get looked at. Whereas I had other friends I knew, they were getting told to get up off a seat. They couldn't sit down. They have to have one of these on, or they're getting kicked out of the shopping centre. And not once. So
right.
You're right.
So then what was their mindset going in? Oh, they're going to say, somebody's going to say something. Well, now they're going to say something because you thought it. You created that reality. It's all about what is your mind telling you? What are you creating? It's all about your belief system. If you go in and you say nothing's going to happen, it's going to be fine. Nobody's going to notice. But if you have that little doubt, that tiny little doubt, guess what? That tiny little doubt might create something for you, a comment or somebody, looking bad at you, or, so it's all about thought and belief.
Totally. And my thought was always, oh, I wonder how many people I'm going to see that are this free and how many smiles I'll get. It was, it was really, that was my looking
That's
at.
perfect.
Yeah.
That is perfect. That is perfect.
So that's all I looked for. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for you, you just looked at your result. You looked at, well, this is how it's going to be.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, over here, they call it the 401k. You guys call it the super fund. Here, if you take it out early, you get a 10% penalty and you have to pay the taxes, which is usually between 20 and 30%. And again, I said to myself, okay, is that worth your happiness? I was like, no amount of money, like no amount of freaking money is worth my happiness. So guess what? I never paid that money.
Really?
I never paid that money.
That's beautiful. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So in the end, if I didn't worry about it, then the universe was going to make sure I didn't have to worry about it.
Beautiful. I love it. And it's really just absolutely, it's confirming, isn't it? Everything that you're saying, it's absolutely been confirmed in reality. So it was interesting because we don't get the option here to take our super fund out before we reach a certain age.
That's like so crazy to me.
Can't touch it no matter what, unless you're sick and you need some money for that. You can get up to like 10,000 out, but you pay tax on that. You pay full tax on that 10,000, even if you're dying and you need to get something done. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, you can do it under certain circumstances. But for me, I kept going, oh, I wish I could get that money out now. This was like 2 years ago. And God kept saying to me, no, Maree, you're going to be so much happier that you've actually kept your precious metals till your birthday, when you can actually then get it out. Well, it all doubled in that time. Everything doubled. So I was so happy that I got through. And now I'm like, oh my God, like this is just doubled for me. So I really listened to that, and that gave me that hope, I suppose. It's like, no, this is actually going to be better for you if you do have to wait. So use it in that regard. So we can turn a problem into an absolute, benefit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's a crazy world. I love it.
It is. It's crazy, but you have to be strong. And of course, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just telling you my story of not wanting to be the last player in the matrix. As a matter of fact, wanting to be one of the first people to get out of the matrix. And I'm not the first, obviously. So many people in communes and living in their cars, and so there's always been people that have been out of the matrix and never wanted to be part of the matrix. And thanks to them probably is why we are all starting to move out of it. But, again, I would challenge you to not be the last player in the matrix. I really would.
So just start with little things. Okay. If it's a bit scary to do like the big stuff like Elisa's done, just start with little things and just go.
Well, that's how I started. I started with the little things. I used to be so cheap, with money. I was like so stingy, and oh my gosh, that Elisa doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, I had to start with baby steps for sure.
And that way then it becomes a bit of it becomes more normal to us to be able to do it. And we might feel that little bit of uncomfortability when we make a choice to do something very different to what we've done for the rest of our life. But once we do that, then it's less and less uncomfortable. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing over here. This one. Woohoo.
Right. Absolutely. So, again, it's going to be based on what are you believing as you do it, right? Don't do it with fear. You do it with complete and absolute trust that it's going to go the best outcome possible. And that's it. That's it.
It's so true. And also what I've been noticing, Elisa, is when I say, oh, this is exactly how I'd love this scenario to be, and I'd do that. And it's so weird because just before it happens, it's like I get the telepathic messages that it's going to happen. It's almost like I get a little warning, whether it's a day before, a few hours before, I go, oh, that's going to happen. I know my telepathic, messages, and it happens like down to the T, if not better. And I'm just going, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Okay, so it's not a surprise then when it happens, but it still can be so magnificent. So yeah,
absolutely. So if you have that ability like you, then it's even better because I think it's an easier process.
Definitely. It's like a confirmation. And then so it's not like a surprise anymore when it happens because it's already been created anyway behind the scenes.
Right.
So because you've done the manifesting, you've gone, oh, that's what I'd really love this to happen. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Well, that's what it is. That's how we manifest. Well, that's how I manifest. So
yeah. And remember, guys, Laurie says, Maree, your hair's super gorgeous today. Nice.
Thanks, Angel Laurie.
So I lost my train of thought now.
So you're talking about just the manifesting and the courage and just what to do.
Yeah, I forgot. It'll come to me.
It's all good. Oh, I love it. So
yeah. No, I was just telling people that that it's trust in yourself, trust trust that you are the creator in a body. That's it. I mean,
totally. And Elisa, it was another thing. I watched this amazing this study they'd done, and it was on DNA, and they said that even when they put the DNA from someone that like they'd taken a sample and put it like 300 miles away, that would still be influenced by the person, not just blood, but DNA would be influenced by the person's thought, whatever it was they were doing, plus whoever they'd touched. So us touching people actually can affect their DNA and theirs can affect ours.
Oh, so this is really?
Yeah. So, and I was going, okay, I wonder how legit this is, but they showed the experiment and everything. So I thought, oh, well. So just imagine that if you're touching people, so your vibration, your love, your whatever it is, your DNA set. So as we are evolving and our DNA begins to, of course, open up more and our gifts and things come through, we're actually helping everyone around us with that. So it's not just for us. So we start with us and then it just naturally is going to go through to others.
It ripples. I know it ripples out for sure.
It does.
Yeah, it ripples out.
Yeah, and as Angel Laurie said, and as Elisa shared her testimony, exactly, words are so powerful as well because that then creates thoughts, which then help change everything. So it's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. And that's why I've been prodded and pushed to share my story. So, I will be putting out little videos here and there about this stuff. And please let me know what you want to know. If you're struggling in your life to get out of the matrix, like, ask me a question like, well, what did you do about this or that, or, whatever,
Mm.
because there are no blocks. The only blocks that exist are in your mind. I promise you. And I can tell you that from 6 years of doing hypnosis.
Yeah.
Everybody would come in, oh, I think I have a block. That,
No,
higher self would always go, no, there's no block. The only block is your beliefs. So,
I love it. And I just pulled 3 cards for Elisa and how she's been doing her testimonies. The first one up, I love it. Knight of Swords. So she's like the military. She comes in and goes, this is my plan, my ideas, this is what I've done. And then she tells us how she's killed off the old way of being and her getting out of the matrix. And then the Ace of Cups, which is the ultimate in emotional satisfaction and delight. So there you go. So that sort of sums up, what you went through.
yeah.
So it's like military
Yeah.
precision and courage and having a plan, and then it's coming through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Definitely. I mean, I had panic attacks and everything, but it was worth every
It's
single
worth
one.
it. That's the uncomfortability of the change. It's breaking down a pattern, so it
Yeah.
can feel really chaotic and uncomfortable, but that's so perfectly normal.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So hang
Beautiful.
in there, everybody. We'll make it. We love you guys. And we will talk next week. Hopefully, there'll be other things we can talk about.
I'm sure. All right. Lots of love.
All right. Lots of love, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.